My pleasure this evening, and thank you for joining us on the Coffee Court. I must say this is where we ask the most important critical questions. You are a human resource, you are part of an institution, you are part of an organization. There are things you must put into consideration, and those are issues related to human resource management. Tonight we discuss how we can be able to handle human resources in the different institutions, how we can maintain them, and how best can we exit them. Dr. Charles Ochichi is in charge of Enterprise Uganda as the Executive Director. Doctor, my pleasure once again, and thank you for sparing time for us.
Very glad to be on this channel again, and very happy to be talking to the Ugandans on a very important topic.
Human resources is an important topic.
Extremely.
How important is this?
It is one determinant for the success of a top brand, one determinant for the success of a minor or a micro enterprise. So it's across the board.
Why not concentrate on machines and we concentrate on human resources?
Because the machines are going to be operated by human beings. And even if you put in what you call systems, manuals, policies, they have been created by human beings, and human beings are the ones to enforce them or to break them.
What machines can do, human beings can't do them anywhere.
The point is, no good machine will operate without human beings, no matter how good that machine is. And two, the moment a machine has been used to breach certain aspects of business operation, it takes another human being to see how the machine has been breached. So should you sleep and allow the machine to run and run and run, by the time you discover you've been hit and hit deeply. So you need still excellent human resources. Here's the message. When machines operate, they bring reports. Reports are not analyzed by machines. Machines will just give you the figures. It is now you, the person using the reports, to say, what I've seen from the machines is now saying this and this and that. How do I maximize this? How do I stop this? You will not replace the real hot-blooded human beings in an office or in a business.
So you're saying human resource management is that very critical department. We see companies that actually don't have a human resource department, and you're saying this is a very important, maybe department or institution. I don't know how else you can actually call it.
Human resource is the most dynamic aspect of an enterprise, because today the person you got yesterday and is back in the office today has interacted with a colleague in another business similar to yours, and he has learned what he has learned from that interaction. Your machines did not run and go and interact with. Airtel machines do not interact with MTN machines. But the staff of Airtel and the staff of MTN can interact and create more value.
What are you saying, Doctor?
What I'm saying here is, whatever has worked so well in the machines of Airtel, the human resources of MTN can learn and come and make the machines decide also to operate. A good machine is almost like a good wheelbarrow. Once it is properly engineered, is functioning, oiled, it will do the job. Wherever you leave it, that's where you'll get it. But a wheelbarrow will never tell you to the next day that, by the way, I saw the other wheelbarrow, the other end, being repainted. Come and repaint me also. That's the role of a human being. Machines do not learn. Human beings learn. And if there be one thing where value gets added from, it is in the learning.
So good.
When we talk about wisdom is the most important thing. By the time God talked about that, he was saying wisdom can give you better technology. But better technology does not remain the same. It was better for yesterday. Today, the human beings must make it better. Today, the human beings must make the next decision and say, it's time to replace this technology. Do machines tell you that today is the day for you to replace us because there's a better technology? Never. Does this chair say, by the way, Mr. Ochichi, after some 7 years, can you get another chair which has been produced in the market? It's human resource to do that.
So good enough, you're talking about issues of value, issues of replacement, and
issues of learning.
Issues of learning.
And then application of what you've learned.
So what are the roles of the human resource in an institution?
Human resource is...
Managers.
Oh, the managers. The managers, the first role is to, one, make sure that you're brought in the right people. And the right people must be because you want to serve a customer. You don't just bring a right person just because you got paper qualifications. Is he needed? Is it a vacancy?
No, because that's one of the things you look up to. I need an accountant, you must have gone to Makerere, Chambogo, or elsewhere.
And that's why I said, you have to first say, you must bring the right person. So it's not just the paper. The paper is important, but you'll find that if you concentrate on paper, for the accountant, you'll have 2,000 applicants. What else are you going to use to distinguish from these 2,000 people when you want only two? There are other aspects you must look at. So the first and very difficult part of a human resource manager is to bring in the right employees. And when you have brought the right employees, the next thing is, have you properly defined for them what their deliverables are? If there be one thing an adult hates, it's vagueness of responsibility. I turn up, you've given me a title, I come in the office, today you are giving me to do this, the next day it's not flowing, again you give me this one, the next day you are shouting at me. Vagueness of roles makes an adult look dense. And no matter how exciting the salary is, every day they come into that office, they just know that that's the office where you go in, and the boss is bright every day.
No, we are
and
living,
he's always trying to make you look dense.
We are living in a world where you need an employer who is dynamic. You do this. If for us in media, you need someone who can operate a camera, who can do the editing. So that is exactly what an institution will require from you.
A brilliant observation.
You do
very,
this.
very brilliant observation. But as you do that, you first want a clear structure. Now that takes me to what I call the elements that create a good work environment, the work culture, the way things are done. Do you reward dynamism? Or do you feel scared that somebody is coming with all that kind of energy and ability to innovate? Work culture. A culture that does not just say, these are all clerks, let's pay them the same rate. One is a clerk, but much more value adding than the other. But you say, oh, you know, in our structure here, this is your salary because this is your title. That fellow is a human being with a functioning head. You've given titles, but the output is different. You are not rewarding the output. That work culture will quickly get the best out of your place.
So if you're making payments and good enough, hopefully you are at the level of an executive. Are you rewarding and paying according to position, or you're rewarding according to the dynamism, quality, skills?
We reward people according to their contribution to the institution.
Would you pay a sweeper much more than a manager at any level? Because you said you're paying according to a number of reasons.
It's interesting that you are thinking rewarding is about cash. The human resources we're talking about, and you can go to any organization. If you just pegged rewarding just on the cash component alone, you'll discover that you'll miss so many people. But there are many young people who are coming into an organization which has got a very clear salary structure, and you cannot be changing the salary structure every month, every year, just because somebody has performed better. But there are many ways of rewarding human beings.
What are these?
One of them is recognizing them. Oh, this was a beautiful job you did it today. The customer was extremely happy. And you are mentioning that when everybody is seeing. He walks around that place feeling like, oh my God, I'm a human being. I am valued here.
That doesn't pay school fees.
It doesn't, but rewards the inner soul, which is very difficult to reward. School fees and the salaries get factored into the brain very quickly, and people are looking for other incentives. Humanity is about challenges and inspiration. You can put your money there, and every salary is similar everywhere. Somebody is doing a very beautiful job. Customers are very happy. You are not recognized. You lose that employee. But you have given money for school fees.
Because it is going to be demotivation for the rest of the other people. If you do public recognition, you have 100 staff, you only recognize one, you have 99.
And such a beautiful question. Beautiful because we think that's the logic.
It
the
is.
person who is demotivated because a junior has been rewarded goes back home. In the deep of the night with his own pillow, he will be saying, I was hurt, but that boy is good. I was hurt, but that Mary lady, she will go far.
That requires maturity to think like the way you are thinking, which not
what maturity is only required when they come and admit
the way you are thinking, Doctor.
Yes, the truth. You don't cheat. The deepest thing you cannot cheat is the conscience of a human being. Every human being has been calibrated to assess and see logic. No matter where you will go, they will say, the maturity is only required when it comes to a point of coming to admit it in public. That one, very few will do it because it calls for a lot of maturity and a lot of comfort of who you are. But in terms of assessing and noticing what is logical, everybody will just say, and the same people that you are talking about, you know that they will employ a person of senior 4 to be in charge of a major activity and get juniors with degrees to be under that person. The same stuff that you are having. Will employ a senior 4 person as a boss because they know the senior 4 person is value adding. So never underestimate a human being with a brain. Do the right thing. And what's the right thing? One of the most important breakfasts for great professionals is ability to deliver impactful congratulations and recognition. And impactful congratulations and recognitions are those associated with clear illustrations on what somebody has done so well. Do you know that we feel like, wow, I wish I could be in this environment. The boss today, the person will walk away saying, the boss today recognized me.
So, Doctor, you're saying apart from cash, you talked about just recognition. I take that as something very simple that you actually don't need to do. So what are these other things you're
Challenges.
saying?
People love to be challenged. If you keep me in that continuous routine, dull thing, and then the thing is always just predictable, and the thing is human beings get quickly worn out by routineness. Change a bit. Add this. Get them to interact with the customer. Get them come and look at the junior here. And then when they do a good job, tell them.
You will break your staff.
Yes,
if you keep flexing them in this and that.
And that's what we thought in the old HRO of looking at things. You are preparing human beings who will work in a multifunctional manner. The same staff one day will retire from that office. He's going to start raising chicken. He used to be an auditor. When you are now raising chicken, you must make sure that chicken are fed. When you are now a chicken owner, you must wake up at midnight and go and check on a snake that has entered the chicken house. That's supposed to be a security man in charge. But the auditor will say, that was my role, call the security officer. When you are running the business, at midnight, the chicken are making noise, run. But you are an auditor, run. You are told, please deliver the items by 7 a.m. at Capital Shoppers. You miss the deadline 3 times. The next time they say you're out of here. Do not prepare human resource to just be routine fellows in your business. Prepare them to be good and outlive the territory where they have come from. And an employee who is working anywhere and wants to guard this so-called, my territory is this, I'm supposed to be this, you are spoiling yourself as an employee.
Doctor, I'm just afraid you are in a position where you suck and you can't be sacked because you're at the level of an executive director. Many of us are at a level where you can only be sacked. And I know you've heard of employers who only think of, I am going to sack you.
The message about sacking, let me put it plain. By the time an officer or a staff is almost a candidate of sacking, they will have factored that in their mind long ago, and they were just waiting for the boss to do it. Many staff know when they are underperforming. Never underestimate that statement. Many. They will even know that if really the boss was to see me, this what I'm doing here is not right, but he has not caught me. Oh, the boss is seeing me repeatedly doing this, but he's not doing. Maybe because others are also doing. The individuals are clean in terms of conscience. They assess the right thing. The fellow due for sacking has been expecting it for a long time, but will try and pretend to say, they victimized me, it is tribalism, it is what, but deep in his mind, he knows I didn't perform well. I should have been removed 6 months ago. So it's the boss. The sacking thing is one of the most difficult part of a human being.
Are you saying it from the human resource angle?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It's the easiest.
Take me through that easier part.
It's the easiest because you wake up in the morning and say, Dr. Chichi, thank you for working with us. You've been a good employee, but unfortunately, we can't continue with you. It's that very simple.
Now, if it is that
very simple,
you need to ask, after you've done a sacking of somebody, how's the environment after that? Are people saying, good, that fellow had been too bad for a long time, it's good he has left. Or people are saying, We don't know what's wrong with the boss. That was one of the best customers we had. I mean, employees we had. The staff, the consumer customers come in and say, where's us? We know, yeah, he has left us. Why has he left? Well, yeah, it is the boss. You ask the boss. If you get the staff whispering after such a decision, just know your sacking decision is not managerial. You are not fit for the job. You should be sacked.
So you talk
As a
about the
boss.
right staff. How do I tell that, yes, I am bringing in the right people in the institution?
Right staff will have most of what I call soft skills, work ethics. Work ethics simply means that you need to prepare for your work on a daily basis, deliver on it beyond expectations, and let the customer supervise you, not the boss. Outlive personal supervision from your boss. That's a work ethic. But also a right staff is a person who will be saying, I have been given targets. These are my targets for the year. He treats those targets as what you call basic guidelines and then supersedes them without shouting about the achievement that has made him to supersede. A good employee should be able to say, I'm here to build credentials to take me to the next level, whether this company is here or it's not here. Otherwise, if you start seeing your employees settling and saying, I have arrived, this is where I'm going to be, he will be very dangerous to any other junior who will perform a good job. Because his thinking all the time is, somebody is getting stronger and ready to take over my job. A good employee should be happy to be part of a team and make a team play better because of his presence. But at the same time, ready to compete and outcompete the best in his space. That's a good employee.
So how would you help your staff improve and give you better results? You have over 1,000 staff. They're not giving you, you're not hitting the targets. The company is making losses. And the only thing you think about is, let me sack them. So how do you help your staff give you better results so that an institution like Enterprise Uganda or any other company?
I mentioned it in the beginning of this interview that one of the things human resources hate is unpredictability. Have a clarity of the structure where everybody's role is clear. Once you have just done that, the work culture begins to come out clean. Now, once individuals know that this is how the structure is, this is how you get rewarded, this is how you get evaluated, you've just fixed one of the most important aspects of a work environment. Once you've done that, consistency is key. In other words, if you have disciplined so and so for having come late, if another one comes late, please repeat.
He's a son to the boss.
And that is what
you
is-
can't do the same thing, doctor.
And that's the point.
This is my company.
Anybody listening
me
to
who-
this
It's
interview,
me who set the rules and regulations.
anybody listening to this interview, this question is brilliant. Because that so-called son of the boss, that is breaking the rules and getting more lazy than the average employee, is going to be the downfall of the empire. Why? The empire you are building one time will be on the shoulders of the so-called sons and daughters. But the sons and daughters have never built the muscle. What will happen is when the boss has disappeared, this huge thing will break these weak muscles. What do the boys do? Dismantle the empire to the level of their weight. And they will do it because you never prepared them. So if you are the boss who wants, I love my son. If you love your son, let your son do much more work, much more exposure than the average employee in that position. If you love your son, that is. If you hate your son, just pretend to give him weak opportunity to discover what works. The empire will not survive that generation.
Well, matters of human resource are those that are very complex, but I know it's one of those key, major, and significant aspects to handle in any business. Doctor, we must be winding up.
Yeah.
Would that be your parting shot?
It is very true because human resources are among the most complex to master because the person you knew last year has now gotten married. And in the course of marriage has gotten a new company and new friends. You don't know that person. So it's one of those areas where a leader must be ready to learn every day and be able to interact with as many people as you can, but have a structure that brings out issues for you to easily identify where support needs to be given and where the wrong elements need to be eliminated urgently.
Dr. Chichi, thank you for sparing time and speaking to us. I am always reminded that there are two important resources in this country. Number one is the resource called time, and number two is the resource called the human resource. You want your institution to grow, of course, you must be in the right capacity to manage the human resource. This is the Coffee Court, and definitely year 2023 must be a very different year. My name is Fred Makubuya.